Hello, and welcome to the Best Football Show. I am Brian Baldinger at Baldy NFL across all social media platforms. Posted a bunch of stuff on the Miami Dolphins offense early this morning. Posted stuff from last night's Monday Night Football game between Kansas City and Washington. You can find this Best Football Show by downloading your free Odyssey app and then finding the Best Football Show, liking it, subscribing to it, commenting on it, following us. We're trying to grow the audience. I'm here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesdays, today is Tuesday. We call this Takeaway Tuesday. Tuesday's takeaways. And so I've watched all but 1.5 games so far. So they had 13 games this week, and I've watched 11.5 games. I got the second half of the Miami and Atlanta game to watch still. But I'm watching Atlanta's offense. So anyways, I have a pretty good take on what happened this past weekend, week 8. There were 6 teams that had a bye, so it was a lighter schedule than what we have seen. However, these kind of things, like when you're watching it, you're just studying it, and you have to like go to your Our Louds guide and start looking some of these guys up. Let me just make this declarative statement. There is not enough good cornerbacks in this league. And then B, there's not enough, not just good cornerbacks, there's not nearly enough depth at cornerback position. And I did the Eagles and Giants game on Sunday. Giants lost 2 corners. They were without their starting corner to begin with. Then they went down. Art Green went out. They lost 2 corners. They played this kid from the practice squad, Corey Black. I'm not here to disparage Corey Black. He got in an NFL game. But, and if you look at the Cowboys, we're starting a rookie undrafted free agent that came from the Chargers, Trikweze Bridges, number 25. I mean, you looked at these kids out there, and they're kids. And maybe they become good players. Maybe they have the height, size, speed, all that stuff. But they're thrown in there, and you go up against Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Like, they are going to go after you. Every receiver, whether it was Cortland Sutton or Troy Franklin, they lined up and went after this kid. It was unmerciful. In fact, they had a drive at the end of the first half to go down and score a touchdown to really, take a real big lead on the Cowboys there. Right before the half, they just went right after him, and including a touchdown to Pat Bryant, the rookie. Ran right, he didn't run by him. It was a great throw by Bo Nix. He was there, but they went after him. The Eagles, look, they went after Corey Black. Right now, when you look at how Jalen Hurts is playing, that was without A.J. Brown, but Devontae Smith went after him. Jahan Dotson went after him. It's unfortunate. You don't want a kid from the practice squad who's never really played before out there on your edge. If they could play, if they were better, they'd be on the active roster. But I'm just using Dallas and the Giants as examples because both kids really got burned bad. But it's more than just those 2 teams. There's other teams where this is happening as well. And there's just not enough depth. And it's an observation. Like, I remember when Denver used their first-round pick on Jahdae Barron. And they had Riley Moss there and Jaquan McMillan and obviously Patrick Surtain. And you're like, man, that's where they're going. But, I mean, to Sean Payton's credit and Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator's credit, like there's a place for that 4th corner or 5th corner, that high pick that's got talent. Jahdae Barron got his first career interception the other day against Dak Prescott. He made a great play, but he got a chance to play because Surtain went out of the game. And they went to a 4 wide receiver look where he kind of plays inside. But, I mean, it is a glaring weakness in this league right now, as much as teams want to throw it. Now, and then if you take a look at like Pittsburgh, who's got veteran corners everywhere, whether it's Joey Porter Jr. or Jalen Ramsey or, when Slay was healthy in there, Cincinnati attacked them, and they didn't play well. They didn't play well the other night. They didn't tackle well against Green Bay, and they got their lunch handed to them, even though they went to a lot more zone. Okay, that's that. The cornerbacks in this league are under my microscope, and I'm just looking for guys that can step up. Like, for example, the Jets were without Sauce Gardner the other day, and they started this 3rd-round pick, Azaria Thomas, and the kid played pretty good. I mean, yes, Jamar had, his 12 catches, but it was under 100 yards. He didn't get a touchdown. They defended a play towards the end of the game. Like, the kid didn't shrink when he got a chance to play out there. So, and then if you look at Baltimore, who was beat up across the board defensively, there's Nate Wiggins, making the biggest play of the game against Caleb Williams in a one-score game in the fourth quarter. Like, he ran a 4.28 coming out of Clemson, and you see that 4.28 speed, just running right by Roma Dunze to take the ball away and setting the Baltimore offense up for a short field and, a 2-score lead. So corners are an issue to me. Now, I watched this league last week, and I'm telling you, the teams that pounded the football, they won. And the quarterbacks aren't really having to do that much work. Like, if you look at James Cook, like, he ran for 216 yards, right? He had, you look at Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he had a 200-yard day, an 80-yard touchdown run. Daniel, it takes if you look at Saquon in the day, Saquon along with Tank Bigsby, they ran for 250 something yards. You look at what the Jets did, okay, with Breece Hall and Isaiah Adams, Isaiah Davis, like, they ran for 254 yards. And look, the Jets got their first win, but they ran for 254 yards, 7 yards a carry, including a 50-yarder, a 35-yarder, a 27-yard touchdown run by Breece Hall, and a 5-yard touchdown run from Breece Hall where he's untouched. You look at Miami, got on the winning track, right? And what they did to Atlanta, they figured out different ways to run the ball. They played both Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon together. All right, both backs in a variety of different ways. They ran pin and pulls. They got the running game going. They got Westbrook Akine to do the pin, and there's Patrick Paul or Aaron Brewer, on the pull, or Larry Borum on the pull, and they got out in the perimeter and they found some good runs. Baltimore got back. They got Keaton Mitchell, in the game, to go with Derrick Henry and Snoop Huntley. And they ran the ball really good. The teams, and they all won. And not to mention the Patriots. They ran the ball really well with Stevenson and Henderson. And Drake May had a bunch of good scrambles. Like, these teams all won. They all pounded the ball. If you look at we'll get to it. But, like, that was a theme last year in this league. Detroit, Philadelphia, San Francisco, they were running it more than they were throwing it. And it was a trend that carried through into the playoffs. Washington last year, had a dynamic running game. Obviously, Jaden Daniels ran for 900 yards to go with Baltimore. And I just see these teams right now that are finding a way to pound it, stay with it. I mean, the Eagles hadn't run the ball well all year. Second play of the game, they block a great play. Saquon goes 65 yards. It's 7-0 on the second play of the game. But they ran some pin and pulls. They figured out a guy that could block the edge. They got, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Brett Toth. They got those guys on the move. And it was really effective. So if your traditional ways aren't working in the run game and you're stuck, like, figure out different ways to run the ball. So that's that. This is officially the year of the reclamation quarterbacks. And if you look at what Baker's doing, Tampa is in first place right now in their division. Baker's he's in his third year of doing this. But Sam Darnold in Seattle and what he's doing, he's playing great. He's playing great football. In fact, if Minnesota could do it all over again right now, as bad as they are, they would have just said, just stay with Sam. Pay him another year. But give him a big deal. Give him a real serious contract. They won 14 games last year. They lost 3. They've already lost more than that this year. And then, of course, Indiana Jones. Like, you can't say enough about Daniel Jones right now and what he is doing. In fact, if you just look at the quarterbacks in this league right now, there he is, Daniel Jones. He's the 5th highest rated quarterback in the league. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards, right? He's averaging 8.5 yards an attempt. He's playing fantastic football on the number one offense in football. And we've always known Shane Steichen is a good play caller. He was in Philadelphia. That's how he got a head job in Indianapolis. They took a team to a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was really good that year. But Indianapolis right now has all the pieces to keep this thing up. I'm going to see him this weekend in Pittsburgh. And we'll see. Pittsburgh is they're on a downward spiral. They've lost 2 in a row. Like, I have a feeling that Indianapolis is going to come and bring the same offense. Like, they're literally one play away, one boneheaded play from being undefeated right now. Boneheaded play by a receiver, against the Rams where they lost because of it. But they played very well in that game. But it is seriously, and you go, okay, why is Daniel Jones so good right now? Well, everything around him is an upgrade, including the coach, the offense, the talent, the offensive line. They don't have any weaknesses on their offense line. Their tight ends, they've got 3 tight ends that all can play. They've got a slot receiver in Josh Downs. They've got 2 outside receivers in Pittman and in number 14, that are really, really good. And Jonathan Taylor leads the league in rushing. It is a dynamic offense. And so what's the difference? Baker's playing with, a bunch of backup wide receivers right now because he had to. But, they played with a bunch of backup offensive linemen to start the season because he had to. And eventually you're going to get Godwin back and Jalen McMillan back and Bucky Irvin back. And when they do, their offense will probably take off as well. Let's talk about a team after 8 weeks. The New England Patriots. They've won 5 in a row. They have the longest active win streak in this league, and it's impressive. Drake May is the highest rated quarterback in the league. He makes very few mistakes. You watch him last week, and they did everything well. They had a great play on the goal line to get Stephon Diggs his first touchdown catch. But for the second week in a row, Drake May threw a 39-yard touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte. It is over the top, big play, perfect throw, good protection. And, you can look at the stats and without watching the game go, there's Myles Garrett had 5 sacks. Well, he did. Like, Will Campbell played fine. It wasn't, they try to chip him, and sometimes you're better just letting Will Campbell go play Myles Garrett and just let him play. Like, sometimes these chips actually, they actually take away from a guy's normal sets. Like, it's not always good. And, and then he ran a twist stunt and he went to the other side, got 2 sacks from over the right side. So it wasn't like Will Campbell got scorched. He didn't. But regardless, even with the sacks, like, they weren't deadly sacks. Like, one led to a fumble, but they recovered the fumble. They ran the ball really good against Cleveland. And they've been a great run defense all year, but they ran the ball effectively. They use a fullback, Westover, Jake Westover, I think, number 37. They used whams, traps, powers. Like, they just have Josh McDaniels just knows how to draw up a game plan. And so it's interesting. They entertained the Atlanta Falcons, who are on a downward spiral right now. They're not playing well at all on any phase. 2 weeks in a row now, they're not playing well. So they entertain Atlanta. And look, maybe Atlanta, Bijan goes off, who knows? But they play Atlanta at home, okay? And then they go to Tampa, which should be a great game. 2 first-place teams in Tampa. Tampa coming up is in a bye. They'll get healthier. Coming out of the bye, they'll be at home. It'll be a great test to see, can they overtake Buffalo this year? Buffalo got back to the winning ways. Like, they played great football last week. James Cook was unreal, just unreal, but everybody was. Josh did what he had to do, but they took all the pressure off of Josh. But they got the 2 tight ends on the field, and they're really good. This Jackson Hawes, number 85, is a great blocking tight end. They got a real role for him. Reggie Gilliam's a great fullback. They got into the run formations, told you that they're going to run the ball, and they ran it. So that's my takeaways here on Tuesday takeaways. I think the Patriots are for real. You listen to Mike Vrabel after the game. They asked him about Christian Barmore. They benched him for the first quarter of the game. Now, he's their best interior defense lineman, but he did something that wasn't right for the team. And Vrabes said, I can't do this. You let the team down, and so you won't start the game. You won't play the first quarter. Now, when he got out there, he's a good player. But, you got to discipline a guy, you got to discipline a guy. You have to do the right things, and they're doing all the right things. And the quarterback is just on an unbelievable trajectory. Like, he is tough as can be, but he also is very athletic. And all of the early comparisons to Josh Allen, I'm not going there because Josh is just a real freak. But this kid can extend plays. He's got a big arm. He's got a good touch. He sees the field really well. I mean, he's going to be we're going to be talking about him for a long time. Like, he's a really good player. And the Patriots, as a result, the way that they've spent money in free agency, the way they built this team through the draft, in fact, if you talk about corners, okay, Tuesday takeaway, cornerback position, if you look at Christian Gonzalez, you look at Marcus Jones, you look at Carlton Davis, that could be as good a tandem of corners, starting corners in this league right now. And then the other part, though, all those corners can tackle. Open field tackles from all those guys last week. That was impressive, tying the cornerback play in this league to what the Patriots are doing. All right, everybody, that is Tuesday takeaways. Tomorrow we're going to come back with Wisdom Wednesday, and I'll have a couple good things, maybe 3, 4, 5 good ideas about what I'm seeing from around the league as we will continue the best football show tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow.